From Washington, D.C. and around the world, this is Government Matters with Mimi Geerges.
This is Government Matters, the only show covering the latest news, trends, and topics that matter to the business of government. I'm Mimi Geerges. On November 24th, NASA launched a spacecraft into space, the first spacecraft sent to hit and redirect a harmless near-Earth asteroid. It's called the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART. The trip takes 10 months, but if it's successful, NASA will be able to deflect dangerous asteroids plummeting towards Earth years in advance. Lindley Johnson is the Planetary Defense Officer and Program Executive for the Planetary Defense Coordination Office at NASA. Lindley, welcome to the program.
Yes, hi, Mimi. Glad to be here.
So what are the odds that, an asteroid will plummet to the Earth and take out entire cities?
Well, that is an extremely rare event, thankfully, but it is something that could happen, and there are literally tens of thousands of asteroids in near-Earth space that we're trying to find them all now, but until we do and know where they are and where they're going, that possibility exists that we could be faced with such a natural disaster.
So the possibility exists, but what about the probability?
It's all kind of a random thing. The Earth gets hit with a sizable asteroid of tens of meters in size every few decades to a century. Maybe on average once in 1,000 years, we get hit with something of significant size that it could do regional damage, devastate a statewide area.
So the DART mission is kind of unusual for NASA since it's a civilian organization and the mission has always been about exploration, not about protecting the planet.
Well, planetary defense, I like to refer to planetary defense as applied planetary science. What we've learned through our planetary science exploration tells us, first of all, that those asteroids are out there in near-Earth space. And then it takes the techniques and technology of planetary missions to be able to deflect one should we ever need to.
So what have been the challenges that you faced with launching this mission into space? How did you manage all those moving parts?
It is quite a complex thing to undertake an interplanetary flight mission, but it's teamwork. It's the knowledge and skills of both our NASA workforce and our partners, in this case with the DART mission, the Applied Physics Lab in Laurel, Maryland, and their experience in both NASA missions, planetary missions, and their work with the Department of Defense.
So as the spacecraft starts to approach the asteroid and hopefully makes contact, what will you all be looking for on the ground?
Well, the whole point of this test is to change the velocity of the moonlet Dimorphos around the primary asteroid Didymos. And so we are going to run this spacecraft into Dimorphos at a high velocity to change its velocity, and that changes its orbit around Didymos. So we will be looking, first of all, we've known about this asteroid for almost 25 years now and have well studied it. And we know very well the period of the moonlet's orbit. We're impacted with the DART spacecraft. And then after the impact, we will again look at that from ground-based observatories, examine the light curve, the light coming from the asteroid, which indicates to us what the change in period of the moon is about Didymos.
Are you going to be, are we going to be able to see video of this as it approaches and hits?
Yeah, the DART spacecraft has a camera on it that will be streaming images down at about a 1 second frequency. We're be showing that imagery as it comes in. There is also accompanying with us a CubeSat that was provided by the Italian Space Agency that we will deploy a few days before the impact that will follow us in, but not impact off to the side. And we'll also take images trying to capture the impact, the ejecta that is coming off the surface of the asteroid, and the rest of the Didymos system. Those images won't come down immediately, but in the days following.
And give us an idea of the sizes we're talking about, because I understand the spacecraft itself is about the size of a golf cart. How big's the asteroid?
Well, the primary asteroid, Didymos, is about a half-mile across in size. And the moonlet, Dimorphos, is about the size of a small football stadium. Relatively small and asteroids compared to asteroids, but kind of a moderate size for near-Earth asteroids. And Dimorphos, were it on an impact trajectory with the Earth, that's a size asteroid that could do pretty serious damage, devastate a statewide area.
And I mean, I understand that you would be confident that it's going to hit, but what if it misses?
That wouldn't be a good day for us from an aspect of our flight missions. We're really confident that we can impact. It's a challenge, but one that we have experience with challenges. That's what we do at NASA.
So, Lindley, assuming that the asteroid is hit and is redirected, can you tell me a little bit about the data that you will be collecting that will then inform future missions? Well,
the data that we'll collect to see how we've changed the moonlet asteroid's orbit is actually the light curve of the system. As the moon goes around the primary, the light dims as it goes behind, and then brightens and dims a little bit then also when it goes in front of the asteroid. And that's like a clock, very regular intervals. When we change the orbit, the orbital period, which we expect to change by about 10 minutes, we will see that change in the light curve coming from the asteroid with ground-based telescopes. And so we'll know how much we change the orbit by looking at that change in orbital period. We've modeled all this up, of course. We know what to expect based upon the size of the spacecraft, the velocity we'll be impacting it with, and the size and the predicted mass of the asteroid. And so we'll compare what we then see after the impact with our models, and that will tell us how much we really understand about how these dynamics work. It's it's a science experiment. It's just like a science experiment. You predict what you're going to see, you do it, and then you compare the results.
So how are you working with allies like the European Space Agency on this issue?
Well, first of all, a CubeSat has been contributed by the Italian Space Agency, one of the members of the European Space Agency. But also the European Space Agency has a follow-on mission called Hera, which they plan to launch in 2024 and go to this same asteroid system, Didymos. It'll arrive in about 2026, 4 years after our impact, and do a complete reconnaissance of the system of both Didymos and Dimorphos, see what the results of the impact are, a post-impact assessment, so to speak, and provide an even more complete data of the system and our effects on the system.
So, Lindley, are there any smaller asteroids that we might not know about that could be coming our direction in the future that maybe we should be worried about?
Well, actually, our primary purpose in the Planetary Defense Coordination Office program at NASA is to find all these near-Earth asteroids. We're tasked by Congress right now to find them all down to a size of about 140 meters in size, 500 feet. We've been conducting this survey for over 20 years now. Our understanding of the population out there, based upon the modeling that we've done, indicates we've only found about 40% of that population so far. At the current rate, we're finding about 500 a year. It'll take us about 35 years to find the rest of that population, and that's why we're working on improved capability to be able to do that. We really need to go to a space-based capability.
So what are your plans, Lindley, going forward to try out other asteroid deflection techniques? Or are we going to stay with kind of the ram into the asteroid to deflect it system?
Well, this technique that we're testing with DART, the kinetic impactor technique, is just one capability that might be used. It really depends on the scenario, how much time we have, how large the asteroid is, what might be the most effective technique. We chose to do this one first because the technology to do it is the most mature. But there are other ideas that might be tested in the future. For instance, a gravity tractor technique that's just using a spacecraft to station, keep with it, and nature's tug rope gravity just gradually tugs it off. Other ideas, ion beam deflectors, and some more exotic things, are talked about. But this will, with DART, we have one technique that works, given that the asteroid is not too large and we have several years of warning.
So, Lindley, will you come back in 10 months and tell us what happened?
Oh, absolutely. Be happy to.
All right, great. Thank you so much for being on the program. Nice talking to you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you much.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future Government Matters interviews.